Well, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Monday, June 22nd, Gentle Movement at Home. We'll get started in a minute. I'm Jen Hansen, Director of Education at PNBC, and here today with Neil Pearson, physiotherapist and yoga therapist. Just a quick note that Neil isn't able to provide specific medical advice. If you do have specific questions, you need to speak with your healthcare practitioner. Neil is available at the end if you have a question about the session or a movement within the session. We're really happy to answer those questions. So just put them in the Q&A and we will get to them after. We're recording this session so you can look at it after. It is living on our the PNBC YouTube channel as well as on our Facebook page. And we do ask for your feedback afterwards. Just complete the poll at the end. It just takes a second. And if you need any help, just email us at education@pnbc.ca or put your concern or question in the chat. We've got just a few more gentle movement at home sessions. We're going to end this series for the summer on June 30th. So these are all of the remaining sessions you're seeing up right now. We've got Thursday of this week, Friday of this week with Neil, and then Colleen Jorgensen, who's instructed before with us. Monday, we'll see Colleen again, and then we'll end the series off with Neil next Tuesday. So I do hope you can join us for these last 4 sessions. This has been a really fun part of my week, and I'm definitely going to miss it over the summer, and I'm hoping that we revive it in September. So I will stop there. Neil, I'll hand it over to you.
Great, thanks, Jen. Welcome, everyone. So today we're going to start in chair, and then we'll come up to standing, and then come back down to a chair at the end. Move to the edge of the chair. Just come onto the front of the chair so you're sitting at the edge. Find a bit of a length of your spine. Let your shoulders relax down a little bit. I'll start with a little bit of movement today. So just take your hands and just open and close your fingers. Grip a little bit, spread your fingers a little bit. Almost like you're trying to get the blood going out there to your fingers a little bit. Great. And then take your arms straight out in front of you and do the same thing. The hands just straight out or arms just straight out, fingers coming in and out. Remember, even with this, you can pause if you want to, if you feel like that's enough. Then take your arms out to the side and do the same thing. Great, and then take your arms down to your sides and do the same thing. And then give your arms a little bit of a shake around, let them rest in your lap for a second. Take your attention down to your feet. Curl your toes under. So I'm not sure if you can see my feet all that much, but curl your toes like you're trying to grab onto the floor, and then straighten your toes out like you're lifting them up and lengthening them. A little bit like you're doing with your hands, but doing it with your toes. And if you're having a hard time figuring out how to do it with your toes, then do it with your hands as well at the same time. It can help try to figure out how to get those toes to curl, how to get those toes to straighten out. And again, even with little things like this, if you're feeling like this is not the right thing to do today, if it doesn't feel safe, modify what you're doing. Push not quite so hard, or maybe you stop after a few, that's fine. All right, so let your toes relax for a sec. Tension still down to your feet. Lift your heels up. So just lift your heels up and then let them come back down again. And then do that a few times. So just lift your heels up and back down. Feel the muscles of the calves contracting and relaxing as you do this. So your knees are just coming up and down. And then let your feet relax on the floor. Straighten your knees out a little bit more so your feet are a little bit further out. So now you can lift up the front of your feet. So lift up the front of your feet and put them back down. And that's just up and back down a few times. Just get the muscles working down a little bit down there. Great, and then let your feet relax. Take your attention up to your shoulders. Bring your shoulders on up towards your ears. Let them come on back down again. Shoulders up towards your ears. Come on back down again. Just do that a few times. And then take your arms straight out in front of you, just like you did with your hands. Arms straight out in front of you. Lift your shoulders up here and back down. Up and back down here. Doesn't matter how high you lift them up, just a little bit up and down. And then take your arms out to the side, same thing. So from here, lift your shoulder blades up and bring them back down. Let your arms come down to your sides. One more time, shoulder blades up and back down. And then let your shoulders relax, put your hands back in your lap again. One more thing with your legs. Take your right foot, lift your right foot up, straighten your leg out, put it back down, then lift the other side up. Just go back and forth a few times. Whatever speed feels good, whatever distance feels good. The back of your leg is a little bit tight. You might not be able to get your leg all the way straight. It may feel a little bit easier if you lean back a little bit while you let your leg go out. That's fine. Just start to move your legs a little bit. And then let your foot relax back down the floor again. Take your attention to your breath now. Put your hands on the sides of your ribs. So your ribs down towards your belly, but a little bit towards your sides. And as you breathe in, see if you can breathe into the sides of your ribs, as if your rib cage was going to move this way as you breathe in. And when you breathe out, you'll let go with your exhale. So just let go and let your ribs relax back in. So as you breathe in, your ribs just expand towards the sides. As you breathe out, let your ribs relax back in again. If you'd feel better to do this with your hands in your lap, so you can feel your ribs even without your hands there expanding, do that. If you're not sure which one would be the better way to go, try one and try the other, see how that goes. If you can breathe in and out through your nose as you do this, do that. If it doesn't feel right to do that today, it's fine to breathe in and out through your mouth. And then try to slow your breath down as well. So whatever length of your breath is there, so you can just make it happen, or make it last a bit longer. It might be three or 4 seconds in, or 3 or 4 seconds out, or it could be even longer, like 5 or 6. Whatever's serving you best today. Feel that ribs expanding, then relaxing. Now, sit against the back of the chair now. So now you'll be able to feel the back of your ribs at the bottom, against the chair. You're going to do the very same breathing technique that you're just doing. So you can put your hands back here if you want to keep them there, or just put them there and put them down so you still can feel that spot. As you breathe in this time, not only expand where your ribs are, but expand at the back of your rib cage as well, where you're against the chair. So down low at the bottom of your ribs at the back as you breathe in. So it's like you're trying to expand to the sides, but you're also expanding towards the back of your body. You're not doing it with all your effort, just doing it with some effort. Slow your breath down a bit. Great. And then you can stay with that breathing practice if you want to, or that breathing technique if you want to, or if you want to come to another breathing technique, or as we continue going along here, just checking in every once in a while. It's important as we're moving when there's pain to do our best to keep our breath in a more regulated or more calm state. There seems to be for a lot of us that connection between when our breath is tight or shallow, that there would be more pain. So you play around with that for yourself to see how that works best. So if you're all right with it, come away from the back of the chair again, get a little bit of length in your spine, relax your shoulders down a little bit. And then get you to take your attention to your lower back now. So in keeping the rest of your spine together, let your lower back sort of slouch down a bit. So the movement will look a little bit like this, rather than my whole spine rounding like this. I'm keeping my upper back still and just trying to get a rocking of my lower back and my pelvis. So you have to figure out how far you're going to let your pelvis rock. Maybe it'll be just a little bit, or maybe it'll be more. Or just give it a try, rocking back and forth a little bit. As you're doing this, notice what happens to your breath, whether your breath is staying smooth, whether it gets catchy, whether you're holding your breath. So maybe if that's happening, it's time to take a pause, or maybe if that's happening, don't rock quite so far. And then just find that neutral spot again for your spine. This time bring your chin down towards your chest, and then bring it back up again. Do this just a few times. Whatever distance would feel good. You can keep your eyes open while you're doing it. You can close your eyes while you're doing this. When you lift your head up, it's okay to look a little bit up towards the sky. Just find that just right amount of movement. Great. And then let your neck relax. Now come to your whole spine again. You're going to roll your lower back around your lower back, mid back, upper back, and neck, and then come on back up again. Just move back and forth with this movement. Checking in to make sure your breath isn't getting catchy, making sure you're not holding your breath. Trying to do this with the right amount of tension in your body, so not too much muscle tension while you go. And then as you finish your next exhale, just come on back to a neutral position again. Now we're going to get you to stand up. So when you stand up, if you want to have your chair right beside you, or leave it behind you if you're all right, I'm going to put it to my side so I can put my hand on the chair for right now. So either with your hand on the chair or both hands just resting on the front of your thighs. If you're on your thighs, you're going to come down into a forward bend, whatever feels good, and then come on back up again. Now, if you want to walk your hands down your legs, you can go ahead and do that. And walk them back up, that's fine. You can keep one hand on, or you can even turn towards a chair to get your spine to bend down this way. Come on back up. You get to choose which one's going to feel better for you today. For now, I'm just going to work with my hands and my legs. Just come on down, noticing that temptation to hold my breath when I'm down at the bottom and starting to come back up, trying to keep it flowing. And when I come on back up next time, my hands on my hips, so you go ahead and put your hands on your hips and come into a little bit of a back bend and then come back to neutral. Just back to the spot that feels like just right amount. If it feels good to really go back far, then go ahead and go back far. It's perfectly fine. Keep your breath flowing. Make sure your body's not getting too tense. Knowing that you can pause or stop or sit back down anytime you want to. And then back up to standing with your arms relaxed down. Take your feet further apart. Put your hands back on your hips again. And this time we're going to bow. Rather than rounding your spine, get you to bow forward so your hips are moving back and your body's moving forward. So you may not go so far this direction. It's just this movement. And back up again. Just down, back up. And if it would feel good at the top, you can come into a bit of a back bend and then go back forward again. Remembering, if you're feeling like you need more support, perfectly fine to put your hands on the chair and to bend that, bow down that way, and then come back up and come into that back bend. Finding the right amount for you. All right, so come back to your chair and come on back down and have a seat back in the chair again. Sit at the edge of the chair, come back to that breathing technique. That feeling like your rib cage is expanding at the sides and at the back as you breathe in. And then relaxing as you breathe out. You may have a sense when you breathe this way, it's like the energy of the breath is coming down into the bottom of your torso as you breathe in. And then as you breathe out, it's almost like it's resting there, relaxing there. Sometimes this way of breathing can help when we find our mind really is running around to so many different ideas. It's almost like we can get the energy to settle away from our head down in our body. It can somehow help us with our thoughts, help us to smooth that out too. All right, so from the edge of the chair, come into a twist. So twist over towards the left, come on back to the center, twist over towards the right, come on back to the center. You can see what I'm doing with my hands here. I'm just taking my opposite hand, my opposite knee, other hand to sort of my hip, and coming into a twist so I can bring myself into a bit more twist than I would do otherwise. I'm not trying to push through pain. I'm not trying to crank it around as hard as I can. I'm just doing a nice twist, feeling myself twisting around the ribs and a little bit around the neck. Then come on back to the center and pause there for a moment. Come on back up to standing again. So as you're in standing, once again, you can put that chair beside you if you want to, or you can have it a little out of the way. It's up to you. So we're going to do a bit of a twist in standing. So to do this in standing, you want to let your knees bend just a little bit. Right? So your spine is still tall, your feet are on the floor. You can come back to that breathing if that feels good. Start with your hands on your hips and your knees just a little bit bent. Because as you come into a twist, if your knees are bent, then they'll just bend a little bit more and be able to sort of move around a little bit. If you hold your legs really locked, you start to feel a lot of that twisting sensation in the knee, and that can slow you down a little bit. So you probably feel like the twist that you're doing here is a little bit more of a twist, getting a little bit more of a twist in my hips than when I was sitting down. I'm still doing all right for a nice twist. And come on back to the center. Once you get back to the center, put your feet wide again. So take your feet whatever distance wide would feel good for you today. So again, you feel your feet on the floor and you feel that length of your spine. You take your arms straight out to the side. Let your knees bend just a little bit again, and then twist from here. So just twist around. Come on back. You can see the speed that I'm doing this. You can slow it down. You can even speed it up if you want. Just notice what's happening with your breath. Make sure you're not crashing through any pain, any discomfort or tension. Finding a way to challenge yourself is just right amount for today. Remembering you can stop anytime you want to. You do not need to wait for me. And focus as much as you can on paying attention to the sensations from inside, the feelings from your body. And let your arms come on back down again. Bring your feet back together again. Come back to that breath once again. Feel your feet on the floor. Feel that gentle length of your spine. Knees are still a little bit soft. They're not locked right on back. You feel the breath come in, expand your ribs around the sides, around the back. When you breathe out, just let it relax there. Then we can come back into the chair again. So I'll reposition my chair, have a seat back down. So this time we're going to do a side bend from sitting. So start at the edge of your chair again. Get your spine really tall. Let your shoulders relax down a little bit. Notice if you're holding around your jaw, your neck, or your face, and let go there if you can. And come into a side bend towards the left. So take your left hand and just let it come down off the edge of the chair and come on back up. And then same thing the other side. Just go into that just right amount. Doing your best not to get too tense in your body as you do this. Doing your best to keep your breath moving rather than holding it, rather than it being catchy, knotted up. And pause for a moment, see how you're doing. Maybe it'd be the right thing to do is to continue with that stretch side to side. Maybe you're thinking it would be better, you'd like to actually go down there and just stay for a breath or two. And give that a try if it feels like it's an okay thing to do. Just go down to the side, find the right side bend, breathe there. Come on back up and try the other side. Let's do one more time each side. If holding it doesn't feel like it's the right thing to do today, it's okay to move in and move out. It's okay to pause if that feels like the right thing to do for right now. And come on back up to the center. Up to standing again. So either have that chair there for balance, or you can just have your hands off. So in standing, same idea. Feel your feet on the floor, feel the length of your spine. Check in or release muscle tension you don't need right now. Then slide your left hand down the side of your left leg, and then come on back up. Just go side to side. If you're feeling like this is making a little bit tippy, then put your hand on the chair, and you can certainly do it side to side with one hand on the chair. Or if the chair is in front of you, you can do the same thing with both hands. Just finding that just right spot. Feels like a good stretch, a good effort. And then next time you go down to the left side, find a spot you can stay for a breath or two or three. You can feel your feet on the floor. You can feel your knees are a little soft. Your breath is flowing, and maybe you can feel the ribs expanding just like you were doing before, releasing as you breathe out. And come on back up to center and try the other side. Slide on down. See if you can come back to that breath. Bring yourself back up to the center, and one more time each side. Or carry on with that repeated bend to the side, back to the center, bend the other side. Or pause if that feels like the right thing to do just now. And come on back up to the center again. Take your feet wide. Again, find that just right distance for you today. So it might just be a little bit further than your shoulders, or it might be further. You come into a bit of a side bend from here. So bring your arms out to the side and on down, back up. I have to move my chair here. So come on down and back up. So a little bit of side bend. If it would feel okay, you can even look up towards the top hand as you come into the side bend. If that feels like that's not the right thing to do for your balance, then keep your head still or keep your hand on the chair. Find the just right challenge for you today. You all know that pain is such a moving target, and even our sense of energy and fatigue can be a moving target. So we have to find the right amount to do in the moment, and not base it on what we think we should be able to do, and not base it on what we did yesterday. And then your arms come on back down if you're still moving. So now what I'd like you to do is to stand with your facing your chair. So I'm going to stand to the side. Of course, you can be looking towards the camera and the screen. So have your hands here, and you're going to come up onto your toes and back down again a few times. Breathe while you do it. Now, if it would be better to challenge yourself just to have your hands up, go ahead and do that. Or have your hands on if that feels like the best thing to do for right now. And then if you can, come up and pause and see if you would like to stay here for a breath or two or three. And while you're here, maybe you can lift one hand off. Maybe you can just lift both hands just up a little bit. Feel a little tippy. Don't move your hands too far away. So then you can just put them back down again when you feel like you need that. And then let your heels come on back down again. Step your left foot back, maybe about 2 or 3 feet. A yard, I guess, or a meter, right? So have that back foot down so you see if you can get to the spot where your back heel is down on the floor. Your hands are on the chair. You can let your other knee bend and bring your body forward just a little bit so you start to feel a stretch to the back of that leg. And just pause here. Find a place where there's a gentle stretch, and then release the stretch a bit. Bring your body forward a little bit for a little more stretch. Just go back and forth a few times. Find a nice stretch. Don't want to go to this place where it feels like the muscle is trying to guard because you're stretching it so hard. And then next time you go in, see if you can find that place where you can stay again. So your hands are just here for balance. The weight is on your legs. Remember, even with this, if you're feeling like that's enough, it's okay to pause. It's okay to stop and regroup and let the body calm down or breath calm down before you come back again. And then release that tension again. Come on back forward. Just take your feet and just lift up your foot and just do a little bit of circle around with one ankle and then circle around the other ankle. Just release some of that tension that was there. And then come back to facing the chair again. Put your other foot back. Get to that spot where your heel's still on the ground. Right, so you're standing with your heel on the ground. You reach your hands out, bend the front knee a little bit, and come forward to the spot where you feel like there's a nice stretch in the back of that right calf. Just go into where you feel the stretch and come back out again. In and out, keeping your breath going. The next time you go in, find that place where you can stay. Feel the lengthening or the stretching through the back of the leg. You can feel your breath. You're noticing you're not getting too tense anywhere in your body. You want to be in a place where it feels like it's okay to let go here. And then release the tension again. Come on back forward. Again, circle your ankles around. One ankle one way. Circle the other ankle around. Just release some of that tension down there. Great. And then come on back into your chair for a moment. Sit towards the front of the chair. Come back to your breath again. Check in with your shoulders and your face and that spot between your shoulder blades, anywhere where you tend to hold tension in your body. Come back to that breath pattern. Breathe in, feel your ribs expand. Breathe out, let go with your exhale. Breathe in, expand. Breathe out, let go. Now, as you're doing this, take your awareness to the parts of your body that we've been working on. So earlier we were working on our shoulders, so maybe you can still feel some of that effort from having lifted your shoulder blades up and back down again. Take your attention there. You're breathing into your ribs, but as you breathe out, see if you can let go in your shoulder muscles. At the same time as you let go with your exhale, let go in those muscles. You might feel them softening down just a little bit while you do that. You're still feeling that expanding into your ribs while you breathe in, with the letting go around your shoulders. And then switch your attention from your shoulders to down around your calf muscles that you were just stretching. So breathe in, expand around your rib cage. Breathe out, let go, but also let go of the effort or the tension around your calf muscles. And take your attention up around your hips and your pelvis, those muscles you're using while you're standing. Let go there a bit. Each time you breathe out, just finding a little bit more softening in those muscles. Great. If you feel like you need to shift around or have a little break and sit against the back of the chair, go ahead and do that again. So we're going to go back through some of these same movements that we've done so far today. And as you're going through them, doing your very best to keep the muscle effort as low as you can to still be able to do the movement. So we started by just bringing your hands in and out. And you can go back to doing that movement. But then take your arms straight out in front of you. And as your arms are straight out in front of you, you're going to feel your shoulders a little bit, some effort in your shoulders. So just like you were doing a moment ago, as you breathe out, release some of the effort that's happening around your shoulders. So they're having to work to hold your arms up here, but you're finding less effort in them. Then take your arms out to the side and do the same thing. As your hands are still moving in and out, you can feel the effort that's happening in your shoulder muscles. As you breathe out, still feel the effort of holding your arms up, but you're letting go of tension you don't need. And then your arms come back down your lap. Take your attention to your forearms now that probably feel a little bit tired from moving your hands in and out. So you still breathe in and expand that rib cage, but as you breathe out, let go in the muscles around your wrists and forearms. Do your best to take your attention to those muscles that were just working and releasing tension there. Great. Do a little variation on the twist that we did before. So from the edge of the chair, bring yourself around into a twist. And as you come around into a twist, use the muscles of your rib cage. Use them a little bit to pull you around a little bit more. So rather than pulling with your arms, think about using your rib cage to pull yourself around. Be kind with your neck. Put it in your neck just in the place that feels best. Maybe it's looking way out here, or maybe it's bringing it around to feel a stretch. But you're feeling the effort of these muscles. And as you're doing this, you still can breathe down here. Even though you're in a twist, you can still expand those ribs along the sides, along the back, and then let go as you breathe out. And come on back to the center again. You probably can still feel those muscles that were just working. So same idea, expand the ribs as you breathe in. As you breathe out, releasing the muscles that were just working to pull yourself into that twist. And same thing the other side. So bring yourself around to the side. Find the just right twist where you're using the muscles to pull your ribs around a bit. Positioning your neck where it feels best. Expanding as you breathe in. Releasing as you breathe out, even in the twist. Making sure you only stay the right amount. So don't stay so long that you feel like you're going to regret it later. And then release and come on back to the front again. Again, you can probably feel the muscles that were working, or you can probably feel where the spine was coming into a twist. Breathe in, expand the rib cage down at the bottom. Breathe out, release. And as you release with your breath, releasing those muscles that were working, those areas that you can still feel from doing the twist. Great. And then we'll get you to stand back up again. So again, you can stand beside that chair, whatever would feel like the right thing to do. So when you're standing beside the chair, get yourself nice and tall again. Move our feet a little bit away from each other, whatever feels like the right amount. Hands on your hips. Bring yourself down into a side bend. So while you're here, feel the stretch along the side that's in that side bend. Now, it's a little bit different here. There's not so much effort in those muscles. See if you can, through the side of your body that feels stretched, see if you can let those muscles go. So if it would feel better to have your hands on your hips, do that. If it's better to have your hands down here. Expanding in your ribs at the bottom, those muscles that are feeling the stretch, see if you can find a little bit more letting go in those, in the side bend. Then come on back up to the center. Let your arms rest down. You can move your legs apart or just bring them back underneath each other for a moment. We come back to that breath again. Wherever spots around your sides or your rib cage feel you still have that sensation there right now from having done the side bend, come back to the breath and let go in the area of that sensation when you breathe out. And try the same thing the other side. So hand on your hips if that feels okay. Come into the opposite side bend. Find that just right spot. Then take your breath into the bottom of your rib cage while you're here. And as you breathe out, let go. And whatever muscles you feel are being stretched through your side of your body, create a sensation like you're letting go there when you breathe out. And then come on back up to the center again. Put your feet back underneath your hips again. Let your arms rest for a moment. You can have that hand on the chair if that feels all right. Same idea again. Come back to that breath wherever you feel the muscles were working. So right now I actually can feel the muscles were working definitely around my hips as I did that. And I can also feel it through my side. So as I breathe in, I'm going to expand the bottom of my rib cage, and as I breathe out, I'm going to let go around the ribs and around my hips. Great. Turn and face your chair again. Put your hands on the chair. Put your left foot back. That meter or so, 2 or 3 feet. Put the back heel on down to the floor. And then bring yourself forward till you find that there's a stretch to the back of your calf. Use your hands on the chair. Find the place, the just right place to stay, where you feel like there's an okay stretch, but not so much that it can't let go. And play with your breath again. Expand down the bottom of your rib cage as you breathe in. And as you let go with your exhale, see if you can let go in that calf muscle too. Almost like there's a little bit more softness in the muscle, like the heel can release into the floor just a bit more. And bring your foot back up again and try the other side. So step back the just right amount, put that back heel down into the floor. Find a gentle stretch. And find that just right spot. So you might be way up here, or you may be way further back depending on how much movement there is and how much that muscle just normally and usually stretches out for you. So you find that just right spot. Then you come back to your breath, using your breath to help you relax the muscle. Using the breath to help you to modulate the amount of effort. So we usually don't think a whole lot about that. And a lot of times we can start to grip, or we can start to use too much effort when we're moving. Not realize that we have some influence over how much the muscle is tightening up. So maybe you can feel that muscle softening or the heel releasing down in the floor just a little bit more. If you feel like you're in a place where there's no way that that thing is going to let go, then you've probably gone too far already. You need to back up just a bit. And then when you finish your next exhale, bring that foot back up again. So I'm going to try one more standing posture here. Standing exercise can get you to come up on your toes. So if you want to have both hands on the chair, go ahead and do that, or one hand. So bring your weight up on your toes again. You can feel the effort in your calf muscles, the effort in your leg. Use your hand as little as you need to, but be steady. right? Be safe while you're doing this. And see if you can come back to your breath. Breathe down into the bottom of your rib cage. Release as you let go. And you can feel the effort of your legs doing this. Remember, you can pause anytime you want. You do not need to keep on going if it's not the right thing to do. If this feels like an okay challenge, feel the muscles of your calves and the muscles of your legs that are working. And as you breathe out, release some of the tension there. See if you can release some of the effort. Maybe you're tensing up too much to do this, and you could stay longer if you could release some of the effort. Maybe you can even lift that hand up a little bit if you can release some of that effort. As you breathe out next time, let your heels come on back down to the floor. Come on back into your chair once again. So if you're all right with it still, stay at the edge of the chair. If your back needs a bit of a break, put your back against the back of the chair. Scan through your body. As you sit here right now, are there muscles that are still tense? If you find muscles that are tense, take your awareness there. As you breathe out, release some of that effort. Maybe it's around your ankles or your calves, around your hips, lower back. I can feel even a little bit between my shoulder blades and my shoulders just now. So I'm guessing that built up at some point during the different exercises and just didn't let go on its own just yet. So if you've not tried things like this before, I hope that you're getting the idea that we have some influence over how much effort there is in muscle and some influence over how much muscles let go after we are using them. We're not looking for the on-off switch that we can actually do something and turn the effort right off. We're looking for an ability to turn the muscles down a bit so they're a little less tense. And once we learn how to do that, we learn how to make them even a little bit less tense, and that progresses or that increases over time. So the analogy is a little bit like throwing a dart at a dartboard. Sometimes you throw the dart at the dartboard, you want to get in the center, but it doesn't get there. And what you realize is the way to get better at it is just keep on trying, keep on practicing. So if you're finding today as you went through this and it was really hard to get those muscles to start to change the amount of tension or amount of effort in them, just keep trying. Be persistent, be patient. It's hard to get muscles that are in a gripping mode or in a protection mode to release. But with these kinds of techniques, you'll find more influence over time. So just last check-in. So sit back against the back of your chair if you're not there already. Just for a moment, check in. How is your breath right now? How does your body feel right now? What's happening in your thoughts? What's happening in your emotions? What's happening in your heart? If there's anything from this practice today, the session today that you want to hold on to, just write it down or just hold on to a thought about it so that after the poll comes on and after, if there's any questions, you can come back to that and maybe use it later. So back to you, Jen.
Thanks, Neil. It was a lovely session. I hope everyone enjoyed that. The poll is up, so we'll just give that a few minutes. Just a couple. I think we're almost done, actually.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Everyone's quick on the poll today. So Neil, we're going to see you next Tuesday. Is that right? We've got two more with you, don't we? Thursday.
Yeah, Thursday.
Okay.
Thursday.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Thursday, and then for the final one on Tuesday, right?
Right.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's good. Well, hang on, we do have a question. So, Neil, you said that you'll get better at checking muscle tension and breath as you move and practice gentle movements. At a certain point, does one get to consciously competent at doing this and eventually unconsciously competent?
Oh, what a great question. And so that's definitely been my experience with these kind of practices, and the experiences other people have told me as well. This idea that when you practice them, you have to think about it all the time, but over time, it's almost like the automatic processes of us take over. And I think that's what a lot of people will find is that you go to do something where there's a lot of effort, and it's almost like with enough practice, you just automatically start using less effort than you would have before. So that's the hope, right? I guess I would say that it becomes something that you don't have to be consciously involved with. But often if we stop practicing long enough, we have to go back and sort of re-practice again to get it to turn on automatically.
Neil, can that take quite a long time?
Oh, absolutely. I think that, you know, in some of the contemplative practices in yoga that I've done, there are some things that I practiced, you know, 1, 2, 3 years, and all of a sudden realize, oh, you know, that thing that used to happen is not happening anymore. I don't have to do anything about it anymore. So yes, we're not talking about something that happens really quickly for most of us. It'd be the same as in athletics or in a job that requires a lot of skill. You know, sometimes you can see, especially with apprentices coming in, you can see that, you know, in the first 2 or 3 years of work, you can just watch the amount of effort that is required to do something more skillful. But then you can see the people who've been working, you know, 3 and 4 years and beyond, you see so much less effort. And so it's another example of yes, it can be you may have to practice this every single day, not for weeks or months, but possibly a year or two in some cases.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's a great payoff when it does happen, isn't it?
Well, I think it is. And, you know, I guess just one thing I want to say with that long period of time I just said is that there are some skills that happen way faster than that we gain that capacity much more quickly than that. But there are other times when it can take a long time. And especially if your autonomic or automatic nervous system processes have been working in a certain way for a long time, right? Our nervous systems get better at things the more they practice. So if it's practiced acting this way for a long time, then it's almost like we need to build more practice on a new pattern before we can override the old one consistently.
Right. Yeah, and so I mean, I think the message is maybe, you know, it's not like there's constant improvement, right? And people can recognize that they're, you know, it's feeling different over a short period of time and then also over a long period of time, but it's that sort of automatic response that you're talking about that can take years. Oh,
yeah, it's really good. Yeah, yes. If we think about sports and other skill acquisition, absolutely, that's the way it can be. Yeah.
Great. Thanks for clarifying. Thanks for that question. Okay, everyone, we will see you later this week, I hope. Thursday. We'll see you, Neil.
All right.
Have a great week, everyone. Bye.